Hi again for another episode of our Pac-Man series. So, on Monday I was incredibly optimistic of the amount of stuff I can do in a week, and then soon realised that this is going to be a little bit of a longer series than a week. I don't know why I think I can do these things in a week, but there we go. In today's episode, we have, what we've done so far is we've loaded the map and we've got a nice little array sitting here of all the information on the screen, which is brilliant. So we have absolutely nailed a large part of this project because these games are all array-based games. They're just tracking the X and the Y, and that's all they care about. We're going to use the Z direction as well at some point to track other things. So having that array is amazing. Let's just switch over and see what we've got in our game. It's not much, but we love it. So we've got this wonderful map screen. You can see it's not perfect, but it's good enough. And it means that at some point we can create our own graphics, and we know how to quickly do that. So I could have a nice little background there. Maybe that's what I do later on, is jazz it up a bit, add a few modern bits to it or whatever. I am not, and I stress this, I am not a graphical person, and I'm pretty sure any coder out there will say the same thing. I think in my world, or my experience, there are people really great at coding, there are people really great at drawing, and never shall the two meet. But if you are one who loves coding and does really well at coding and is a really good graphical designer, please let me know, because I think you're probably good gold dust in the industry. Anyway, so we're going to put the bits of food in, and I'm going to create this as, I've been thinking about this, I might create this as a separate active, because there's no need for it to be the same active, but I probably will regret that. And I think we chose 30 out of 30, yeah, so we're all 30 based. Why are we 30 based? Does 8 go into 30? No. Why have I chose 30 based? That's really odd. So obviously, 32 it should be. Let's just check. 30. So 1080 divided by 32, it's 33. It doesn't leave much room. I don't know why we're 30 based. That's going to be really. So we at least make it 28, and then that's. So what is it? 28. So 1080 divided by 28 is 38. Yeah, so let's make it 28. I don't know why. So I'm going to do this active again, and I'm going to do it 28 just so it fits. So so it would be timesing it by no, not 28. What am I talking about? 24. All right. No, I'm an idiot. Oh no. Undo. Oh, I can't undo that now. Okay, I've committed to that. Okay, so what I've done is I've copied and pasted. Let's talk about this, because I did this last week as well. I copied and pasted the element, and in my head, that means to clone it. When I'm copy and pasting, it means clone it. On Clickteam, for some reason, it means it wants an instance of the same object. So what it does is, if I do anything to this, it will do it to the original. I wish that they made copy and paste a clone, not a duplicate. That is really irritating. But I've committed to that now, so be it. I do wonder, actually, I could save as and try and rectify this. Let's pause this and let's see if I can save this. Answer is no, because I never saved the file. That's really irritating. Okay, so I'm going to make it 20, what was it, 24? Yeah, let's do it 24. This is the part of the project where I start wondering why I'm fiddling with this stuff. But so I'm going to make it 24. 24 is 3 lots of 8, so I'm timesing it all by 3. And yeah, that's going to be a lot nicer. It just means that yeah, Just makes everything easier when you've got a nice timesing. Anyway, so I'm going to make this 24. And I'm going to put a little bit of food in the middle of it. And like everything, I want... And I wish this was the default. I think it is actually. I think I went in and changed this in the settings somewhere. But I like having everything at the top left so that when I'm creating stuff, it will start at the top left when you create stuff with arrays and stuff. Now, I want this to be a piece of food. Don't really know how big they are. Could probably go back to the Photoshop and put my grid back on. I don't know. Actually, I don't think the grid will work. I need to. So if I do what I did in the first episode, and if I put the grid in, I can kind of actually I can just zoom in. It's 2 by 2. So 2 times 3 is 6. I want it to be 6 by 6. So problem is where the start is. So what I can do is I can put doing well this episode. I can put a jagged line in like that, and that will, in fact, if I do even better, I could start at the top and I could do like this. There we go. Get there in the end. And I want it 6 by 6. So I'm going to do this. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4, 5, 6. So it would be this one. There we go. How easy is that? That's me almost making it up on the spot about how to calculate where this is. Then we can remove these. Now, is it a perfect square, or do they... I mean, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's a perfect square, but it's not really a perfect square. So I'm wondering whether to embellish a bit, make it more like a circle. Because I'm wondering whether it was only a square because they didn't have many pixels. Okay, I should really get in the habit of naming these. So this will be food. Food for Pac-Man. And I've already kind of got a bit of code that I can use for this, because I've said if it's less than 32, and I can copy and paste that, and I can say if it equals 32, because all the ones that equal 32 are where Pac-Man can go. So we want to create object at, in fact, I tell you what, I could just paste that in. Create this food at the same position. Direction we don't need to worry about. And I'm going to get rid of the string for now. So there's nothing we need to test at the moment. And there we go. Now we've already talked about the fact that these two at the start aren't there. So we need to figure out where they are, which is going to be laborious. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly pause it whilst I count where they are. Or I can just use the Excel file I've already got. So we can see that they are on row 23, because it will be 0 base. So 23. We need to put another condition in. This is where it gets fiddly, because I need to put an or in. Sometimes that doesn't work. So insert. Oh, is there a... So or. I can't remember if it's filtered. And we want to insert... Oh, not comment. New condition. On loop. I think we use this again. So if the loop index of x... it should really be an and. Oh. Is different. and x would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. Just trying to figure out. This is the point now where I go, right, let's figure out what the conditionals are, because I don't want it to happen if it's those two squares. But what might be easier to do is let it happen and just remove them quickly. The problem is if I use the collision detection with Pac-Man, the user might get points straight away for those tiles. So I've got to just have a quick think. I think we'll be alright just removing them at the end of this. And this is where I I do not like doing that. I need some way of doing this. Let's have a think. Like a cheat way of doing it. Let's do the cheat way. I like cheating. So 10x. So that we're going to times by, I don't know, 1,000. We're going to add it to the y. So let's have a look. The x for this one, what was it? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So x will be 13, but it will be 13 times 1,000, which will be 13,000. And then the y index is, what did I say it was? 23, because it's 0 based. So 23. And we just say, if it's different to that. I have no idea whether this will work. And then obviously we've got, is it 14? Could always see whether this works. Oh my goodness, it actually worked. How cool is that? So what I did, because I don't think I moved the camera over, was said the loop index of x times 1,000 plus the y. Because the problem is I need two conditions here. I need the x to be a value and the y to be a value. But then this condition, this event happen, like it just gets really complicated because you've got multiple ands within an or. So all I've done is times the x by 1,000 and put that part there and then added on the y. And that's only going to be that for, I suppose I could have used modulus, I don't know. But those two are saying don't do it for those ones. And so when I've loaded it, it's removed those two. Wow. Okay, so that was quite interesting, trying to figure that out. So we've got the pieces of food on the screen, and so I imagine our success criteria for Friday's video will be to get Pac-Man loaded and movement sorted. I don't think we'll be able to get the food eaten yet, but hopefully tomorrow's episode we will have our Pac-Man wandering around this screen. Fingers crossed. Thank you very much. As always, if you've got anything to add, please do so in the comments. And at some point, I'll get around to answering questions or whatever. I do not have a clue what video I'm going to be doing next after I've done this Pac-Man series. So please write down some comments. I'm pre-filming the Pac-Man episodes, but beyond the Pac-Man ones, I'm not going to film them until those release probably. So please write in anything you want me to cover, anything you might be fun for me to cover, anything you've covered that you want to see whether I do it in a different way. Write in the comments. Anyway, thank you very much.